Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 VC review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Sengoku 2, which if you've never played it before, it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, so think Streets of Rage, Final Fight, only nowhere near as good. It's one of those, if you've been watching my vids for a long time, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of the genre. My brother's a huge fan of the genre. We're sick to death of them never getting made. So whenever we find one released on a new system that we've never played before, we always jump into buying it. But this time we were actually, well, we weren't in agreement, it would be safe to say, because he really wanted it. I thought it looked like a heap of crap, and personally, I can't stand it. At the start you can choose your difficulty settings, so it doesn't particularly matter though. You'll still probably burn through the game in about a half an hour or less, because there's only 4 stages, which is short even for side-scrolling beat-em-up terms. Pretty much the only thing that gives you any longevity at the game is the fact that you can play as 4 different characters at any time. However, you only get a certain amount of time for 3 of them. So, for example, I can change into, well, when a dragon's not screaming at me, I can change into a bare-knuckle brawler ninja. I can change into an old man with a huge rod, and I can change into a wolf, and I don't particularly know why they chose these characters. And obviously, as I say, you only get a certain amount of time in each of them. It's about a minute per character, and well, your main character, you've got a life limit in the top left, and you've got an energy limit. However, you don't get an energy limit for each of the characters. It's 1 energy and 1 life limit for the whole character, like for the whole player 1, player 2 thing. Basically though, by playing as the different characters, obviously you get totally different attacks. However, it doesn't particularly matter because there aren't any combos or anything. Majority of enemies will die in 1 hit. It's only when you get later on when you fight enemies that take more than 1 hit. There's no real strategy or depth to the combat at all. It's pretty much just button bashing. And you'll even turn around to face the nearest enemy, so you don't have to do it yourself. You could literally be standing still, bashing the B button, which is, to be found the classic control of the attack button, and if an enemy jumped me from behind, I'd automatically turn around. It's one of those things, I really just don't like the game. There's too much of this. This is probably an extra 5-10 minutes onto the gameplay. The fact that constantly you'll just teleport to new areas. There's orbs that you can collect, which do different abilities, so now I've got that coming out of my sword. There's a pink orb and a blue orb, and each one gives you a different attack, and it does work for all of the characters. So, for example, if I was to turn into the wolf now, I believe the wolf is the one that I like with the blue, although again, it's not letting me because it's doing this teleport thing. So hopefully the blue orb will have lasted, so I can at least show this wolf thing off. Right, wolf. So there we go, I'm now doing a screech with the wolf. The red wolf, to be fair, is the one that I actually like the best. You do a bit of an explosion type thing. And it's just one of those things, you can tell that it's an old game, but even for an old game, there are so many better beat-em-ups out there. I mean, there's things like River City Ransom, or Street Gangs, whatever you want to call it, which is much older and a hell of a lot better, and it was on a, like, less advanced system. It was on a NES rather than an arcade and NEO.GEO style system. So some people might think I'm being a bit harsh with it, but I don't think I am. It is just a mediocre game. It's one of those that while you're playing through it, you'll probably have a little bit of fun, but by the time you get to the final stage, you'll be thinking, yeah, I'm glad this is coming to an end now, because that's pretty much my experiences with it. Stage 1, I was okay with it. 2, I was less okay with it. 3, I saw weird piranha type things with human legs and I thought, what the hell? And 4, I just thought, yep, glad it's over. There is a 3rd orb you can get, which you're probably just seeing is getting. It's basically a yellow orb. It doesn't do anything power-up wise for any of your characters. It's the same attack for all of them, and it's just a huge lightning attack and does massive damage. Obviously you can play the game with a friend if you want to, and play co-op, but even so, it's one of those that you'll probably play it once, you may never go back to it, and it's not exactly that long. Usually if it was something like a Streets of Rage, which is one of the pinnacle of the series, then I'd say you'd probably play it over and over again. This I can only really recommend if you are absolutely desperate to play a beat-em-up that you've never played before. And the worst part is about all of this, the second game is the one that they've released, and apparently it's the better one. There's 3 overall. I don't really know much about the third one, but from what I've read, the first one was just atrocious, and this is considered to be a vastly superior title. So if I hate this, I can only assume I'd really hate the first one. Graphically, it does actually look good. It's one of the few redeeming features about the game. The fact that there's a lot of different artwork, there's a lot of different backdrops. It does break up the mundanity a bit by changing the art style a lot and the enemy style. Musically, it's okay, so I will shut up for a little bit to let you listen to it. And the only, I suppose, change of pace with the actual gameplay is the fact that you can do horseback sections, which are actually even more limited than the main game, because literally, instead of being able to move like this, like I'm doing now, you can only move left and right. You always face forward on the horse, you can only move left and right, and you can only do a basic attack, and it's just so boring. You'd think that when you get to the horse section that it will be a nice change of pace, a nice breath of fresh air, but by limiting the gameplay even more, it makes you dread coming up to the horse sections. It's just one of those. I really wasn't a fan of this, and even my brother, who wanted the game, by the time we got to the end was, I think, severely regretting it, because he was constantly saying things like, I hope this is done soon, I'm glad this is done soon, oh no, I can't believe there's another level. So that is all I can say, just to leave you with a little bit of the music now. Well, that was a little bit of the music. There's probably a couple of things that I've thought of that I should mention. One, you can do a charge-up attack with the characters by holding 3 buttons down together. It's a bit clumsy and awkward. The only time you'll ever really need to use them is during a boss battle, which you'll have just seen us doing the music, because they're the only time when you need to have a bit of strategy and a bit more than just your random button pressing in order to beat the boss, because they are, at least have a little bit of difficulty to them. They have, I should say. They are probably the only part of the game that is a change of pace to the regular combat. But even then, you only get 1 of those per level, rather than, you know, the 1500 grunts that you get that you can just button bash to beat to your heart's content. So that, I think, really is everything I can say now. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel, because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.